Welcome, everyone. I'm Richard Herskowitz, the Artistic Director of AIFF, and I'm very pleased to have here the subject of the film we just saw, Lily Hevish. Welcome, Lily.
Thank you so much for having me.
And the director, Jeremy Workman.
Hey, thanks everybody.
So, Jeremy, maybe you could start by just telling us how you first came upon Lily's work and realized there was a film here.
It was interesting because so much of my filmmaking past has been documentaries where either I was approached by somebody about making a movie or there were people I already knew. In Lily's case, I was a fan. And it's kind of an odd way to think about making a movie on somebody, but I was just a fan. I had found myself finishing another documentary that was really, really difficult to edit. And I found myself frequently watching domino videos, especially like late at night while I was on my couch before I would go to sleep. And I was fascinated. I instantly sort of was intrigued, and I so quickly discovered that everything kind of led to Lily. And then I sort of got to sort of know what she was about as a person. I was watching a lot about her videos. So I just kind of like started to have an inkling that maybe there was a really interesting story here about Lily, about the world, about YouTube. And I just out of the blue approached her, which was the first time I'd ever done that. What was that like for you, Lily?
Yeah, I mean, I was just a college student, and I remember you sent me an email being like, hey, so I'm a filmmaker, love your work. Maybe we could do some sort of documentary. And I was just like, that sounds interesting. I don't think anyone's made a documentary about domino art before, so let's do it. This sounds fun, and it's a good way to show everyone what this emerging kind of art form is.
Yeah, and then Richard, like literally like 2 or 3 weeks later, like I was in her college dorm now filming her and her friends.
Well, I mean, I got to say that just domino toppling is so cinematic. I mean, it's a time-based art form, and it just meant for the camera. I mean, which you had already discovered, Lily, in your own videos. I'm pleased because, one of the main emphases of our festival is films about the arts. And here, what we have is really a new art form on a new platform, appealing to a new and younger generation of fans. So, could you talk about this, just to sort of realizing that this is really a valid art form? Maybe starting with you, Lily.
Yeah, so with domino art, it's really unlike other traditional forms of art in the sense that dominoes are kinetic, right? You set them up in order to make a chain reaction. They're not just static, but you build it with a purpose in order to make it work in a complex chain reaction. And there's so much involved in domino art, not just the colors, but also like how are you going to make something look aesthetically pleasing and also functional in a way that like it's going to topple, and also taking into account like the pixel of a domino. It's not necessarily a square, but like it's a very thin sliver of a domino that you can make, with different colors. You can make different images and spell out words and really make anything that you want. So it's definitely a new kind of art form, but it's something that, especially with video and being able to share it online with social media, is definitely growing and becoming more popular.
Yeah. And Jeremy, your history as a filmmaker has been making films about unusual characters. They're portraits. I'm thinking of both the outsider artist Al Carby and the independent filmmaker Henry Jaglom, but even like Matt Green, who walked every street. So really, kind of this seems to be your specialization in some way.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, so I really focused a lot of my interests and filmmaking on subjects that are, both artists, but also people who are really sort of outside outside the lines a little bit of kind of conventional interests. People who are really, really passionate, people who are doing things just because they have to do them. So Yeah, I've made documentaries on, very strange and weird elderly outsider artists, but there's a through line from that to even somebody like Lily, who's so focused in what she's doing and so passionate in what she's doing that like this is all she could do in a way. It's like all she wants to do.
Yeah.
And that was really interesting to me, like seeing
Mhm.
somebody who was just so interested in their art form and would just stop at nothing to do it.
Mhm.
What was really interesting also about Lily's story was we approached it at the beginning as, oh, this is going to be a portrait of an artist, kind of like what you brought up, that this is this new form of art and this 21st century Gen Z thing. And Lily's really doing all this incredible art on new platforms. That was always something that we were interested in. What was so interesting about the project, though, also was realizing that I had like sort of stumbled into a coming of age movie a little bit, and that it sort of was transcending the story of an artist. It was becoming a little about what, this really amazing young woman and how she was coming into her own. And that also really was something that was exciting. And I remember talking to Lily about, okay, this is how the movie's kind of shaping up, and it's kind of, this is what it's starting to look like.
So, Lily, I mean, you are a domino artist, but you're also a filmmaker. In a way, you have been making these videos and presenting yourself on YouTube for quite a while now. And so, how do you feel about this kind of the the self-presentation that you do on YouTube, and then the presentation of you by Jeremy, and an outsider's perspective on you? Any thoughts about that?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see the comparison because like when I'm filming my own stuff, it's very informal. It's very like YouTube style in the sense that like there's jump cuts, like I'm trying to figure out what's going to be exciting for viewers and also just like literally holding the camera and talking to it rather than Jeremy just being like behind the scenes filming what's happening. Um, but I think Jeremy did a great job putting it together and asking the right kinds of questions and setting the scene to be like make me feel very comfortable to talk about different things. So Jeremy, he did a good job with it, and it's definitely a different side of me, I guess, in the film compared to on my YouTube videos. Because with Lily Topples the World, it's more like everything behind the scenes that you don't really see on camera, which I think is a really cool approach, and I'm glad that that side of me is able to be shared through the film.
Right. Jeremy, I just have a kind of a technical question. It must have been such a challenge to figure out to film the domino toppling. How did you tackle that?
Yeah, there was basically two different poles of filming. One, of course, is just, easy filming, which was just me and a camera filming Lily, right? So it's just me at her college or following her in New York, and usually that was just me with a camera, really kind of making it informal, relaxed, and kind of just me and a camera and her wherever she went. And well, that was the easy, kind of filming. And then, of course, as you said, there were these very complex domino scenes, like that scene at that Vermont museum, or the Tonight Show, or, the Lego, where Lily does this big piece at the Lego YouTube space. And those were really, really complicated. And we really wanted to immerse the viewer. We wanted to show, I wanted to show sort of how Lily was building the dominoes and be right there with them. We employed a lot of strategies, including having a lot of cameras, a lot of camera people. Sometimes we would just bring in, whoever we could get, we'd have them film. In the scene in Vermont, we were even crowdsourcing footage from people that were there. And I was also reaching out to Lily. You said she's a great filmmaker. She knows how to cover these and where to put cameras. So she was often filming these events herself for her channel. So I was also leaning on those. So ultimately, it was this kind of group effort, this kind of where everything was just kind of very expansive, trying to get as many camera angles as possible to kind of create these really dynamic kind of scenes.
Great, thanks. And Lily, I know people are going to be wondering what is happening with the business currently.
Yeah, so right now, I mean, I'm just trying to get Domino art out there as much as possible. And, with H5 Domino Creations, we just came out with our neon set. So like that's at Walmart and Amazon, and it's just expanding all over. I'm hoping to eventually expand the team and, get more people helping with the YouTube channel and building, and even a potential domino competition show in the future. So there's a lot of domino things coming up. We'll just have to see how it all plays out.
Right. And Jeremy, where does the movie go from here?
Well, your film festival is just one of the first that's showing it. We've only just started to kind of put the movie out. We're really thrilled at the reception so far. So people are just sort of starting to discover it this spring even. And from here, we're gonna probably play some more festivals, but we have a lot of companies and distributors that are interested in the film, and we hope very soon that we're going to be able to announce like where everybody could see it, and after seeing it at Ashland, they could eventually where they could tell their friends and family to also see it. So everybody should hopefully follow the film. We have all the social accounts,
Yep,
and we
it's
should definitely
at Lily Topples the World.
Okay.
And we have that on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. We're Lily Topples, and everybody should just follow. And hopefully, we're gonna very soon announce where they'll be able to find the film later this year.
Great. Well, AIFF will do its part too. We'll put the
Awesome.
word out as soon as you let us know. And thank you both so much again for sharing your film with us and being our closing film of our 20th festival.
Thank you.
It's been an
We're really
honor.
excited.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.